Alright, it is Thursday. That's the day where Bungie posts their TWID, of course. And it's a moment where the community is repeatedly taking a deep breath in anticipation of what may or may not be in the TWID, of course. Fingers crossed today's update will be a useful one. Of course, there's lots of conversation about timing of upcoming content releases, delays, roadmaps, all that. And I do get tired of bringing it up very often, but of course it's the elephant in the room, so you almost don't have a choice but to discuss it. Hopefully that applies to Bungie this week, we're about to find out. There are a couple of live game updates in here as well, so we'll dive into it. If you guys enjoy it, or at least find it somewhat interesting or useful, a rating would really help us out. Hit subscribe for more Destiny news, but now, let's see what's cracking. First up, of course, double invasions are active in the Lawless Frontier now, this week. I believe it will only last until next weekly reset, so if you don't like it, it won't be a thing forever, although who knows, Bungie may lean into it. Give me any feedback or thoughts on your experiences with that down in the comments section. The other weird thing that happened this week, of course, is where Arms Week kind of didn't go away fully. So the Destiny 2 team said the issue where Arms Week Event Home was still active for some players after reset has been resolved, but players who are affected will still have the initial calibration quest present in their inventories until the next weekly reset. So a partial fix, and of course we'll see what we get in terms of the live game in just a moment. A thread here that's worth mentioning, somebody said Shadow and Order is delayed, ? This was on the Bungie forums, and they said if I already paid for a service advertised to release on the 3rd of March and then that service is delayed, how does one get their money back for that bundle? A Bungie mentor said all refund requests would have to go through the retailer that sold you the game and would be subject to their refund policies, but only reason I'm actually mentioning this is that Shadow and Order technically is a free update, so the Renegades purchase cost was everything that we actually got released back in December. So technically the next thing is totally free. Sure, those of us who buy expansions do essentially pay for it, but those who do not buy expansions get access to it regardless, so worth clarifying that with a lot of the conversations that are currently taking place. Up next, on to other updates from today. Firstly, Bungie managed to kind of break the servers for a rather long period of time, so there was a few hours today where D2, D1, and the Bungie websites were actually offline. Of course, they were planning to do this server testing stuff. I don't think that ended up happening according to the TWID, we'll get onto that in a second. Although we should point out, it is now fixed. And so, onto the blog post, which has landed pretty late. It's past my bedtime, you know. The quick summary is that Bungie have a new Tharsis fashion competition thing. Also, they touch on the Dark Age hunt again, double invasions in Lawless Frontier, a new chapter to the new player guide, which is about the director, kind of amusing given the conversation about the portal, and then a recap for Game to Give. And so yeah, we don't get any conversation about Shadow and Order, the roadmap, all that stuff. Guys, I'm exhausted. Totally understand though, players are annoyed about it. Immediately, the responses on Twitter, or X, were absolutely lighting up. So there were jokes about Bungie having the servers offline for a number of hours and then posting a tweet with little communication. I don't know when we're going to get it, but it's still the case that they haven't confirmed the rumored delay for Shadow and Order, which, yeah, by next reset, it will be 3 weeks until the time it's supposed to drop, so I've got no idea. And like, seriously, we've spoken about it quite a bit, obviously, over the past few weeks, but I absolutely do not understand what Bungie's strategy is right now. I totally get that we shouldn't all sound like entitled children all the time or anything, but obviously there are a lot of frustrations with the game, there are a lot of concerns about the future of it. It's made worse, frankly, by the fact that we have rumors for delays, right, as opposed to any actual confirmation from Bungie, and these rumors have been around for 2 or 3 weeks at this point, whatever it is. And when you stack that up with the frustrations that already exist in the game, obviously it breeds a really negative sentiment. As players have summed up here on Reddit, wow, amazing, another empty TWID. We're truly just getting absolutely no communication until Marathon releases, I guess. They really must have some bad news or changes they don't want flooding the press before Marathon comes out. The silence is absolutely deafening. That's a perfect example of the way that players are feeling right now. And while that comment does make a lot of assumptions, right, you can't blame players for making those assumptions when Bungie aren't taking control of communications themselves. So naturally, players are going to be concerned, and the situation just has zero chance of getting any better until Bungie actually say something constructive, at least acknowledge the rumors and things that have been around over the last few weeks. I don't know, man. I got nothing else to say about it right now. So following whatever happened with the service today, Bungie say, due to an unrelated issue impacting D2 services, we postponed our planned server testing that we announced in the last TWID, and this test has been rescheduled for tomorrow, February 6th, beginning roughly at 1:30 PM Pacific time. As a reminder, the purpose of the testing is to gather data around a server setting aimed at improving back-end world server performance. So players may see more guitar errors, especially in longer running tower instances, and this is an expected test outcome that we're looking to resolve in a future update is a key part of the data that they're collecting. So Tests should run for a few hours, hopefully. No major disruptions on Friday, but we'll just wait and see. In the TWID, they also recap on the Lawless Frontier double invasion stuff that's been active this week. And again, they outline the goal is to explore how to reduce the number of double-cross invasions in Lawless Frontier, but they add the fact that invaded Guardians are granted an additional 3 revive tokens per invasion each run, or each time, sorry, in each run can only have 1 active invader. I've only played a few rounds of it, can't say I particularly mind it, but I know some folks are less into the invasion aspect, so share your thoughts below. Otherwise, in terms of Dark Age Hunt emblems, and those who earned the Artifacting Signal emblem for the Warlord's Ruin challenge they did last week, they say both of the emblems are planned to be granted within the next 30 days, following validation from the analytics team, so if you've not received the emblem by Friday, March 6th, the say players should submit a support ticket. Other thing in the TWID, they're starting a Tharsis Threads fashion show, so they say it's time to show off your Renegades fashion. You've no doubt collected an impressive wardrobe, and players can now use those drops to design a look that embodies the expansion in the fashion show, so they must take inspiration from Renegades, dress up and customize your Guardian as a member of the Praxic Order, a Dredgen, a member of the Syndicate factions, or something else related to Renegades. Characters or scene recreations from non-Bungie media will not qualify as fashions in your submissions and must be strictly Renegades themed. We'll have to capture a minimum of 2 screenshots for a fashion submission and post the screenshots to Blue Sky, Twitter, X, Instagram, or Reddit with the Tharsis Threads fashion hashtag. Plus share your Bungie ID in the submission post, and they will not allow more than 3 submissions per player. They say they'll post the pics or the ones they choose on February 19th. That's another TWID in the bag right there in terms of content, and those who win will get the emblem we can see on screen. So that's another community component that Bungie have lined up for the near future. Also, the TWID contains another addition to the new player guide that Bungie have been writing up, so this time it's about the director. And it does mention the portal, but the funniest thing is the director is front and center in the summary with a screenshot from back in Season of Defiance, funnily enough. I don't know if that's been in this new player guide for some time or whether this is entirely new, but man, I wish the portal wasn't the main kind of activity, presentation, format, system thing. Also in the TWID, there is a recap for Game to Give. This time around, the community raised $1.9 million for the Bungie Foundation, which is absolutely wild, to be fair. It shows a bunch of the good that the community is able to do, so that's really neat. But otherwise, that kind of summarizes the TWID for today, guys. So I know, once again, yeah, there'll be disappointment about the lack of communication about the future. I'm too tired to go into it in a lot of detail. Like you guys, I just don't really understand it. Obviously, that lack of communication is hurting the community at this point, especially because there's rumors around, right, unconfirmed information about potential delays, timeline changes, and all this kind of stuff. We appreciate that Bungie needs some time to figure that stuff out, and that's always been the case, but it really is exhausting players at this point, and it surely can't really help for Marathon either, right? Really feel like Bungie would have got communications about this out by now, but we're still waiting, so there we go. Give me your thoughts down below. Go absolutely wild in the comment section, man. Let's see what the community vibes really are. Not that I'm saying you can't find that conversation on the internet right now, but yeah, I'm gonna go get some sleep. Cheers for tuning in, and I'll catch you guys very soon.